I bought 31 sample libraries at an absolutely insanely ridiculously low price. So in this video I will show you what they were, how to get them, how to get a good deal on them, how to get a good deal on some of them if you don't want all of them, and how to get some freebies. If that sounds good, let's get started. Before we do, can I ask you kindly to click the subscribe button and ring the bell? Thank you. So you get informed of new videos as soon as I release them. It's all about synthesizers and synthesis and electronic music and that sort of lovely stuff. So the bundle I bought is called the Everything Bundle by Rigid Audio. Now, Rigid Audio are based in Berlin. They create sample libraries, and this bundle was put together at the back end of 2021, the beginning of 2022. And at the time, as it says on the tin, it contained every one of the libraries that Rigid Audio produced. Now, I only became aware of this offer 2 or 3 months ago, which is when I bought it. The offer seemed to be on and off. I'll get into that in a minute. But here's my receipt for the purchase. And it works out I paid around £1 Great British pound and 24 new pennies per sample library. That's about $1.40 at today's exchange rates. But you want to know what these sample libraries are, what they look like and what they sound like, don't you? So I've just picked a few of the libraries at random and created some very short demos. And of course I will give you my opinion and thoughts on the libraries. So the first one is Acoustic Isolation, which was released in 2020. We have a variety of sounds and patterns which you can play on the keys down here. The lower keys play a drum riff, and the upper keys play some sort of a melodic riff. We'll get into this in a second. And the keys in the middle play instruments. And you can play them all together. You're very funky. Let's try one or two others. This one has a guitar riff. It's quite nice, and the drum pattern. Not sure if they go together, but let's find out. Yes, they sort of do. So there's a load of drum patterns and drum sounds and riffs. We can have a look at them. These are contained in the snapshots. So you can see there's a whole load of pianos and guitars and strings. Let's just pick one at random, see what it does. Let's add the drums. That's quite nice, I like that. So one of the other things you can do with this is to add your own samples. So you can drag, I believe, just drag and drop samples onto the interface, and it has effects and all sorts of other goodies. Not going to dive any deeper into this. It's just to give you a flavour of what's available. So this is Rigid Audio's homepage. At the moment you can see they are promoting a lo-fi bundle. Not going to go there, certainly not at the moment. So where do you find the Everything Bundle? Well, let's have a look in products. And this, according to the website, seems to be all the libraries that Rigid Audio produces. Now, I've done some sums. They are arranged into categories, and if you add them up, there are actually only 22 libraries here. If we scroll further down, then we get to the bundles, which is really where you want to be. It's a bit of a weird website, certainly if they're trying to sell all the sample libraries they produce, because they're just not listed here. But let's click on the Everything Bundle, which is down here. So this page shows all the sample libraries in the Everything Bundle, and you will also notice the everything price, but ignore that, certainly for the time being. So this lists all the sample libraries in the bundle, and there are 31 of them. Now you can go to the website and check them out. I would certainly advise that you do that. If you want more information about any particular library, then you can click on this Learn More button. However, I have done my best to summarize the libraries, and I shall show you that summary in a second. This is Angus, which is a fully fledged wavetable synthesizer. That's the initial patch. There are about 800 presets here arranged into various categories, so let's just pick something at random. We like doing random things, don't we? See what this is. Very synthy, and these are all contained in snapshots, so let's just flick through one or two. Boring. So this contains some interesting sounds. I think some of them are more useful than others, but you can create your own sounds, you can create arpeggios, it has effects and so on. This is Orbital from 2016, a collection of spacey sounds, it says, and you can see the user interface. This is very similar to some of the other ones released in around that time. It does look a little primitive, I think. Let's listen to the sounds. Well, that's a nice big spacey sound to start with. So, yes, that's another big spacey sound. This has got built-in portamento, so if you play notes further apart, they slide into each other. So you might be singing some sort of theme here, or at least some sort of musical theme. They seem to excel at these, well, they call them cinematic sounds, these big cinematic soundscape, ambient drone type atmosphere sounds, layered sounds which you can mix and match together. They are not all like that, of course. Now, there are a couple of interesting things about Rigid Audio apart from their weird website layout. So if we go to the subscribe tab, you can see that they would like your email address so they can send you news of offers. Now, one interesting thing about this is if you do sign up, then they will send you a permanent 10% off coupon. So you can use this coupon for any purchase, and this may come in handy, as we'll see in a moment. And it's perpetual, so you can use it again and again and again. If you sign up, you get these freebies, and if nothing else, these are certainly worth having. They are very interesting sample libraries which you can check out here and subscribe and download. So this is Aquifer, which is a granular synthesizer. Oh, that's interesting. So Aquifer was produced in 2019. It doesn't have individual snapshots. It has individual NKI instrument files, which you can click through here. They are divided into several categories, such as special effects and guitars and pianos, and this is the melodic category. Very Christmassy. Also Christmassy. Some nice sounds here. It is also a synthesizer, so it has a lot of controls you can fiddle with as well. Now, you don't want to pay $1,427 for the bundle. Offers, as you probably know, come and go, and I think I hit lucky with the everything bundle. I can't remember the exact amount in dollars that I paid. I think it was probably about $49. The best current deal that I can find is this. This is Audio Plugin Deals, which offers you the everything bundle for $59. So that's under $2 a library. If you like the library, then I think this is a good offer. However, I will also show you how you might be able to get individual libraries at not $2, but at a little bit more if you only want one or two of them. I shall leave links to all these sites in the description, of course. So this is Felicity, released 2020, and it was in fact the instrument from Rigid Audio that I originally bought. It is another wavetable synth with some interesting features. Oh, bags of reverb. You get a lot of sound, if you know what I mean, for a single key press. Let's try one or two other sounds. Oh, I'm listening to this on headphones and that made my ears go funny. Oh, it's got a really low bass rumble. Listen to that on headphones. I don't know if that'll come out through YouTube, but that is shivering. It is, yes. Let's try another one. Okay. Oh, this is another one. It's got a lot of low end. What's happening in the low end there? It's make my ears vibrate. Might be me. Might be the headphones. Stereo effects. So again, lots of controls. Just want to bash on, give you a flavour for a few of these instruments. Now, one of the interesting things I found after I subscribed to the Rigid Audio newsletter and indeed bought the Everything bundle was that every week or two they send me an offer trying to sell me one of the libraries which is in the Everything bundle at a knockdown price. Typically $4 or $5. And remember, you've signed up to the newsletter, so you can get an additional 10% off these. So if you only want 2 or 3 of these sample libraries, sign up for the newsletter, and with a bit of luck, the required libraries will pop up on your inbox on offer. But don't forget the freebies, which are well worth having in any event. So this is Ghost, and it's a layered instrument. It was first released in 2015, I believe, as an instrument for Ableton, but it's available here in Kontakt form. It does have a fairly primitive looking interface. Let's see what it sounds like. Well, that is a really nice big sound. That's the first one. These are individual NKI files. Try another one. Nice sounds, really big sound here. Oh, it's a bit more delicate. So it might be old, but it still has a lot of great sounds. So I have tried to summarize and categorize the libraries in the hope that it will help you in some small way. These are the libraries that are in the bundle. Now you will notice that some of them are quite old. I've put the year of their release after the library name. So some of them come from as far back as 2015. Now I'm making this in October 2022, so that's 7 years old. But as the bundle contains everything that Rigid Audio produced, it's understandable that we get some of their early releases. Now, after the library, I have tried to summarize the type of library it is. There's a more detailed description on the Rigid Audio website. My little descriptions, I think, are good for a summary, but they don't do full justice to many of the libraries because they have many more features than you might think just looking at this description. Let's have another library. So this is Groundshaker, and it is the most recent addition to the Everything bundle. It was released this year in 2022, and it is a drum machine. As you can probably tell from the layout, it has a lot of built-in drum sounds. A lot of interesting drum sounds and built-in loops. So you can have a set of ready-made drum patterns. You can create your own drum patterns from the drum sounds. Let's just flick through some of these. So I don't know if you can hear the bass. I don't know if that's going to come through on YouTube, but a lot of these instruments have a lot of bass in it, and this one has a lot of bass in it as well. So that, I'm sure this has got a sub bass in it somewhere, the really heavy sound. Anyway, this is, as you can see, a drum machine. This is a nice, interesting grid. You can click drums onto the grid to create your own patterns and change the existing patterns. Just going to look at one more. This is Ammonia, which was released in 2021, so not too old. As its name suggests, perhaps it creates sort of resonance type instruments using multi layers and all that sort of stuff. So let's see what this sounds like. Oh, so that's interesting. It's got a trigger on the release, so when I take my finger off the key, it plays a little plucky sound like that. Interesting. So I am going to stop the library demos there. We could go on for days just running through the libraries and their possibilities. So let me try to sum up with a few thoughts. So there are over 8,000 presets, and no, I haven't been through them all, but I have been through quite a few. I haven't gone through all of the libraries in any detail either, but my general opinion is that they are, in a sense, a little bit of a mixed bag. There's some really absolutely fantastic sounds there, along with some sounds which are not so fantastic. Also, when you look at the interfaces, even some of the modern ones look a little bit primitive compared with some of the GUIs we get in modern software synths. Now, perhaps it would be churlish to complain given the price and how many sounds you get. And as I say, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of absolutely fantastic sounds. So perhaps you get the impression from the list I put up earlier and from listening to some of these demos that a lot of these sounds are, shall we say, cinematic. They are atmospheres, drones, soundscapes, pads, big layered sounds. And this seems to be what Rigid Audio specializes in, although of course not all their libraries are in this category. If you produce ambient music, I would think this collection would keep you going for months and months. Other libraries are a bit more specialized, so if you are not particularly into ambient, then perhaps one or two of the more specialist libraries might be of use. I do find it a little strange that you can go to the Rigid Audio website and buy these instruments at full price, but they seem very happy and indeed very keen to sell them to you if you join their newsletter at a 90 or 95% discount. I do think it's a bit of a strange business model, but we are the beneficiaries after all, so I am not going to complain on that score. So thank you very much for watching. If you are interested in soft synths and sample libraries, you might be interested in this video about Complete 14, especially if you haven't decided whether to upgrade or indeed to jump into the Complete ecosystem. And you might also like to know which are my current top 5 favorite instruments in Complete 14. And that video is here too.